Thank you so much, Ian. I appreciate you kicking it off to me. Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Wednesday. We say you got to get your wins in on Wednesday. So if you're learning about the cost and capital on a Wednesday, we say you're getting a win. So we're looking forward to this experience today, to this time together today. My name is Brian.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. No, this is on too. Brian, can you hear us? Oh, we can't hear him. Right, we can't hear him. Yeah, he can hear us. We just can't hear him. Let me.
See here. Can you all hear me?
Hmm. All right. Brian, you there?
There we go. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're just not hearing you from the screen. Is this okay?
Ah, okay. Yeah, I can see myself and my microphone's unmuted, but I'm not sure if you all can hear me. What about now? Is that better?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's better?
yeah, there we
Okay,
go.
great.
All right, so when you're ready, Brian, we can kick us off into the introduction.
I'm not sure if he knows we can't hear.
Yeah, Brian, do you hear
Temecula tends to not have the best Wi-Fi, I'm learning, so please excuse me. We have a partnership with the Temecula.
Yeah, I think if it'll be easy, you can have that in that.
See here. See if it's gonna like me this time.
Good afternoon, everyone. We appreciate technical difficulties and solutions, so give us a moment.
Yeah.
because they were not customers. And so we became the arms, the hands and feet of getting capital to smaller businesses that were seeking support during this very uncertain time during the pandemic. We exist. The wind beneath our wings is to uplift communities, strengthen families, and advance entrepreneurial dreams. What we do, it's a three-prong approach. We do government-backed loans that I talked about, SBA loans. We do SBA loans as well as Treasury, and we partner with local governments. We're partner with the County of Riverside in managing their revolving loan fund. And then we do direct lending. We have AMPAC direct loan programs that we have curated based on the needs of small businesses that we've learned from our almost 19 years of being in business. Our government loans range from as low as $5,000 to over $30 million, depending on what the need and use of funds is. We also do best fit business advising. Oftentimes we hear from our banking partners that, and our small business owners, that they need help to get a customer the support that they need. And because we have so many banking partners and non-bank lenders and credit unions, we can help the business owner with best fit advising on the product or the banking partner or the resource partner that's best fit for them, which is why we built the mobile app, so that we could have that tool on the mobile device that most people use. With that, we do training programs like what we're doing today. We also do that training programs in partnership with chambers of commerce, the SBA, the Small Business Development Center, the Women's Business Center, and a ton of other resource partners in this area. And we collaborate. We collaborate with other partners for small business success. I am going to now turn it over to Ian to get into the meat of the presentation. And I assure you that you're going to find information that's going to be helpful to you and to your small business. So Ian, take it from here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hilda. And just look at the way she commands herself on this stage. Very impressive. I hope I can match half of that. But so now we're going to get into the meat and bones of the presentation. Why do businesses seek financing in the first place? Well, there's a myriad of reasons. We're going to get into a couple here today. So first of all, being to support working capital needs. So in order to conduct your business, whether it be paying your employees, buying your supplies, any other means of daily operational expenses, you have to have cash on hand for that. Now, we're going to be going over a couple different financing options that a business would have available to it. Specifically for AMPAC, we operate only through term loans, and we'll get into the best uses of those as well. So another reason is to restructure existing debt, say a credit card or a line of credit. A revolving line typically has a higher interest rate than what a term loan would have. So if you're finding yourself buried under this revolving rate of interest, then you can use a term loan to take yourself out of it and put it on a more manageable schedule. And the last option that we'll be going over today is to reach the next stage of production. So we're going to go over two examples for that specifically right here. So we're going to be diving into our term loan options with AMPAC, specifically the microloan. So we have a couple different loan programs. What we're going to be going over here today is the interest rate, loan terms, and general purposes of our microloans. So we have two success stories here. We have one business that was set to start, a stylist in LA looking to open their salon. Now, the issue that this business owner was experiencing is that They had the experience, they had the knowledge to open their business, but they lacked the immediate cash to do so. Now, we have an existing business that was in Victorville, a coffee shop who wanted to grow. They had an excess amount of customer to employee, and they didn't have the output that they needed. So they wanted to hire additional employees and bring on equipment to increase the quality and quantity of their product. So what did these two businesses have in common? They had a growth goal. One wanted to grow into starting their business. Another wanted to expand the capabilities of their existing business. Now, they both of those issues that they had was a lack of immediate cash. So this is where a term loan comes in. They're best designed for long-term working capital needs or asset purchases. So if it's gonna be around for a long time, as we're gonna get into, term loans last for a couple of years. So when you're looking to get a term loan, the best use case is for something that is long-standing. There are instances in which we can use them for short-term needs, but we'll get into the meat and bones of short-term financing in a moment. So we have two additional examples here. SBA microloans up to $50,000. What we're getting into here, so I'm gonna minimize this so we can all see, is the SBA microloans. So let's say this is a loan that ranges from $5,000 to $50,000. You will see an interest rate of 6 to 7% on average. It can go up or down, but as of today, it is fixed at 6 to 7%. Your loan term will be a 7-year repayment plan, and it's an 84-month payment. And the reason why we're making that distinction is because we're going to get into something called revolving and merchant cash advance loans. But what you could expect to pay on a 7% interest rate fixed for 7 years, per month you would pay $755, with the total interest paid out over the life of the loan being $13,389. Now you have to decide what's important for you when you're looking for financing. Is it the monthly payment or is it the total interest paid? Because they will be determined by the life of the loan. So if it's a 7-year term, you're going to be paying more interest than if it was a 2-year term. Now, luckily here at AMPAC, we don't have a prepayment penalty. So if you were worried about that, you can pay it off as fast as you like with no additional fees being incurred. So how would you, as a business owner, qualify for one of these loans? Of course, as any other lending institution, we have a credit requirement. Oh, move that. There, now we can all see. All right, and this is an example tax return. This is not anybody's personal information, just so we're all on the same page. So there's a credit qualification. At AMPAC, we have a 640 minimum FICO score because we want to see business owners grow. We don't want to hold them back from where they could be. We will be conducting a credit report review. And as long as we can understand the why of how you got where you got, we are willing to work with you. The next is a cash flow qualification, or also known as a debt service coverage ratio or a repayment ability for the proposed debt. Now, the way that we will look at this is your available cash flow for business. Now, the most basic way of looking at this is your net profit. What does your business have in cash after operating itself? Because you'll have a top line revenue and then you'll have your expenses. After all of that is done, your bottom line is your net income. Now, we will add back non-cash expenses because these are accounting terms. Depreciation and interest aren't cash expenses. They're accounting terms that you can write off as part of your taxes. So we'll add those numbers back to get your real cash flow availability. And this is what we will use to compare to your proposed debt to determine a ratio, or a DSCR, debt service coverage ratio. And the minimum at most CDCs is 1.15. At AMPAC, we are looking to expand access to capital. So our minimum is 1.1 to 1. So for every dollar you borrow, your business should be generating at least $1.10 if you are working with AMPAC. Moving on. We're going to be introducing bank financing. Now for this, I am going to be turning it over to the Director of Community Lending, Ahmed Zwin. We also have Brian on the line, so say hi to Brian.
Hello, Brian. This is Ahmed. How are you? All the other participants also. All right.
Take it away, Ahmed.
So how we do the
You can.
so in bank financing, two types of bank. Either term loans, which basically like what Ian just mentioned, and we have some guidelines. So you can go, actually, you can go on a bank loan, on a term loan, all the way up to $5 million. But it has some caveats. Basically, your debt service coverage ratio, your capacity to service that debt, it will be way over than $1.25 you're borrowing. The term is going to be maxed out maybe at 60 months, if you're lucky, at 84 months, that's if you're lucky. And the debt service coverage ratio is going to be actually on each dollar you are borrowing, you have to have at least $1.25. Cool. Can you hear me now? So can you hear me now? Yeah. All right. So those term loans, they have to be specific for certain purposes for the business. Equipment, partner buyout, business acquisition, but the criteria itself is gonna be very tedious and very, very exhaustive. At least over here, you are talking about 680. In different banks, mega banks, they would be looking at 720 FICO, minimum FICO score, stellar credit. And again, to your ability to cover your debt, it's gonna be over than 1 to 10, $1.10. Actually, they're gonna be like $1.25, and they will stress your deal. So if they are giving you, let's say, prime +2, which is about 10.5 interest rate, they want to see that your operation under increasing interest rate, you are still going to be able to cash flow your business, although it's a term loan. Now we go to the revolvers. The revolvers, we call them line of credit. The main purpose of the line of credit is to finance short-term financing, like to cover a gap between account receivables and payables. If you want to purchase some inventory or turn over that inventory for a short-term cycle, that's when you use the revolver or what we call the line of credit. Usually it's an adjustable rate, and it goes through many criteria, like it has to be in green. Like the banker, when they give you the line of credit, they will ask you, this line of credit can be used up to 100% for 11 months of the year. But at least 1 month of the year, it has to be in green. You have to put it back at 100% non-utilization. There are some guidelines for those lines of credit. Lines of credit usually are tied up to account receivables, tied up to account receivables and account payables and the inventory. So basically, it's a manufacturer. You go through what we call proof formula or proof formula. You cannot use up to 80%, over 80% of your account receivable. It's an adjustable rate, and you pay as you use. What else? Usually there is some annual fee attached to the revolver lines of credit, and there is a fee for utilization. Usually if you are in the middle market arena, like over $5 million lines of credit, you will be charged for utilization an extra additional fee by the bank. Anything else? That's it. Any questions? Thank you.
All right, now we're gonna get into what I'm super excited about to cover is what's known as a merchant cash advance style loan. And the reason, if you can see me right now, I'm using air quotes, is because they are not marketed as loans. So what is a merchant cash advance? It's cash advanced to you out of your receivables, specifically provided by merchant service providers. So you think of your credit card processors. If your business accepts cash, or sorry, if your business accepts a debit or credit transaction, you use a service provider, whether it be Square or Clover. Those are the two biggest names in the arena right now, but there are several other smaller providers. Now, what they will do is that because they track all of this data from your business, specifically the transactions on credit and debit transactions, they will say to you, hey, do you need capital? Let us advance part of your receivables based on your daily cash transactions, and we will buy it from you. So it's not a loan, we're advancing you your own money and we're buying it from you. So what this will end up meaning for your business is that essentially every day or week, it depends on the term, they will be deducting a ACH of about 15 to 20, maybe 30% of your business bank account based on the sales. So each dollar that you earn for your business, 15 cents of that is taken out, just right off the top line. And this is the reason why many lenders operate on available cash flow rather than your top line revenues. Because what you'll see is, as we get to the next slide, when we get into the terms, and these will be available, so if you're having a hard time seeing it right now, don't worry about it. You will be able to zoom in later. But what we can see here is that your estimated payment on a per day basis is $600. This is an example of a business owner in which AMPAC came in and refinanced them out of this revolving debt because they will charge a factoring rate each day that the loan is not repaid. So this is a $600 per day repayment on, let's see, $18,000. You pay $600 a day on $18,000. Now this owner had multiple merchant cash advance loans. So in total, he was paying about $1,400 a day for a combined total of about $70,000. AMPAC took this loan, refinanced it, and turned that if you were to calculate it out, $43,000 a month into $1,047 a month. We saved that business owner a cash flow of $42,000 a month. And now, just with this simple refinance, they are much more profitable than they used to be. They have much more available cash for their business. So the main reason why we bring this up today is that many business owners are drowning under the debt of revolving and merchant cash advance capital. And specifically with those merchant cash advance, because they are not term loans, because they brand themselves differently, we are able to refinance them outside of the usual means of debt. So we can refinance that debt as soon as a month after you receive it. So if you're in a scenario in which you need quick access to capital, we're talking 1 to 2 days, you can get that merchant cash advance, pay whatever it is that you need to pay, and then get it refinanced on much more reasonable terms. So a good rule of thumb in the world of borrowing money for your business is that the easier it is to access and the faster you get it, the harsher the repayment terms end up being. Now, this isn't always the case because you could be a very qualified borrower. You walk into the bank, you show them your financials, and they say, okay, we'll give you a loan because you're so qualified. That's easy, but make sure you read the terms of your loan, and your lender should be transparent and willing to go over the terms with you. If they are pressuring you to sign, don't read it, just sign it, you're probably in the wrong place. Here at AMPAC and other reputable lenders, we will take the time to go over the terms of your agreement with AMPAC and make sure you understand what it is you're getting into. Just as we disclosed with the microloan, you're going to get $50,000 over the course of 7 years. You're going to pay $13,000 in interest. That's transparency that we aim to uphold. Now we find ourselves with a good chunk of time, so let's enter our Q&A. I see we have a couple mentions in the chat. Let's see. It just has to do with audio, but I think we were doing okay. I think we ended up adjusting. So posing to the audience here, are there any questions about what we've gone over today? Right. So your best option would be going into bank financing because SBA doesn't cover the type of real estate investment that you're talking about. So what you would want is essentially a large amount of liquidity. You want to build that up so you can invest it into a property and show a bank that you have assets to work with in order to finance you. Now, they'd want to. Oh, So the question was, what is the best type of financing option for someone looking to get into an investment in real estate? So answering that question is you want to first garner yourself a large amount of liquidity. Real estate is a safe, stable option, but the reason for that is because it's tied to expensive assets that collateralize the deal. Ahmed.
So those are two different bodies. If you are lending, you're going to be dealing with what we call hard money lenders. If you're going to be buying and holding like apartment complex, shopping plazas, fourplexes, that's going to be banking. But it will require. Do you have currently anything in your portfolio as an investment, rental property investment? Your first one. So you will be required at least to inject 25% of the total purchase price into the deal. And the underwriter in the bank, they will have to qualify that the rental property by itself by formula called cap rate and net rate. It's a total different body than SBA.
Okay, perfect. To clarify what was just said by Ahmed Swin, the director, going over passive real estate investment, you will be required in the instance of a buy and hold in which a business owner or a passive real estate investment owner purchases, let's say, a duplex or an apartment complex and holds it to rent the rooms out to individuals who are paying a lease. In those instances, if you're looking to buy in, you need at least 25% of that liquidity of the project available to inject into the project. If you are looking to buy homes to spruce them up, repair, and then sell it again, you'd be looking at hard money lenders, which we haven't covered today, which we will go over at a different presentation. And yes, this recording will be available to the attendees as well as the slide deck. So no worries there. All right. Any other questions? We got someone happy about that. We're going to be sharing that slide deck. Any questions from our lovely president?
I do. I know you shared a success story from someone who was getting out of a merchant cash advance loan. When you meet a client that has an MCA or another kind of hard money loan that they've gotten working capital on, and maybe they've gotten 2 or 3 of those back to back. How do you look at those? And how do you serve a client that perhaps keeps getting the merchant catching similar loans?
Mhm. Okay, so the question was, how do we look at potential borrowers and business owners who take out multiple merchant cash advance style loans in which we went over earlier, their sales are being eaten up 50, 60% each day, so they don't have a lot of available cash. So something that AMPAC likes to do is to see where the business could be. So if the business per day in our earlier instance is losing $1,400 a day, if we were to refinance that debt, that's an immediate $1,400 made available to them per day. So the way that we would look at them is, one, determine repayability. If we can establish repayability, we have the ability to help them. But the other portion of it is we have to make sure that they do not end up in the same spot they were in the first place. So we need to address the cash flow needs of the business owner, which is really case to case, business owner to business owner, which requires one-on-one personal consultation. But we will address the cash flow needs of the business, making sure that they don't take out additional MCAs to cover future expenses. So that is how we would handle someone who's getting multiple MCAs back to back, is first establish repayability, and second, address their cash flow issue that stems from them that required them to get the merchant advance in the first place.
Talk a little bit about the ongoing coaching or support for that business who seems to keep getting those loans, and maybe you can address similar ways people open up multiple credit cards and they keep opening up credit cards, and then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, this interest rate is out of control, and I need to refinance my credit card, but nothing stops you from getting another one. How do you deal with that?
So for that, in that particular instance in which, the question was, how would we handle a similar case in which a person is taking out multiple credit cards rather than an MCA? Because nothing's necessarily stopping them from acquiring more credit cards just because we refinance them. Now, with that same instance, there is a cash flow issue that needs to be addressed, or there's a character issue. So in the instance of a character issue, there's not much we can do because you're going to keep doing it regardless of how we help you. So if it's a character flaw, that's something that needs to be addressed personally. We can tell you as much as we want, you're burning your bridges and you're burning your financing by taking out all these loans or credit cards, but that's ultimately something that you as a business owner need to recognize and correct. Now, same issue with the credit cards, there's a cash flow issue. You find yourself, oh, I'm between my payables and receivables. I need a little cash to bridge the gap. And then you keep needing a little cash. You don't pay back the principal of these cards. It's the same for lines of credit. They operate pretty similarly. So if there's a cash flow issue, your business is not bringing in enough cash to cover its operating expenses, that is what we need to address. It stays on that same issue. Your business needs available cash to operate itself. You use short-term financing for short-term working capital needs. And the problem that we'll see is instances where short-term capital is used for long-term assets like payroll. This happens, I feel, quite a bit, where you'll use something like a line of credit to cover your base employees, not contractors or people who are only there for a short project. They'll be used for your regular mainstay employees because you're short on available cash. Using a short-term financing option like a credit card or a line of credit isn't the go-to for something like your employees or purchasing a piece of equipment. That's where you bring in a term loan. A term loan is for long-standing additions or mainstays of your business. They should be there for a few years because you're paying that piece off for a few years. If with short-term capital, it should be there for a few weeks to a few months, maybe maybe a few months is pushing it. I'd say more comfortable in a few weeks. Short term, you're purchasing coffee beans for your business and you're going to turn that product into coffee to sell to your customers and then pay back the principal with a little bit of interest. That is the proper way to utilize short-term financing. Does that feel about answering the question?
What support do you provide to a small business in that situation where you're not sure they're not going to continue the cycle? How do you coach them?
So the question is, how do we coach business owners who are falling into that trap of repeatedly getting credit cards, and how do we stop the cycle? Now, the support that we offer will be very tailored. It will be on a very individual basis because there's a lot of reasons why a particular business owner could be falling into that trap. It could be character, it could be cash flow, it could be a variety of reasons. But what we'll seek to understand is their business model, for one. If they're a cash business or a receivable business, how do they generate their money and how does it come into their account? That's what we'll seek to understand, and then address the cash outflow issue. So there's something in your business that's bleeding you, and we need to stop the bleeding, cauterize the wound, and make sure it doesn't reopen. So there's two aspects to this. It's the cash in, how you generate your money, and the cash out. How do you spend your money to operate your business? And that's the holistic solution to stopping someone from taking out multiple lines of credit, credit cards, or MCAs. Damaris.
Do you have resource partners that come alongside you?
So many. The question was, do we have resource partners available to us to help coach these business owners? Yes, because we believe that the best way to support business owners and entrepreneurs is through an ecosystem, which we're going to get into right now. Brian, if you're available to talk about this, let's see. Oh, he doesn't have great connection, so I'll go ahead and jump into this. So we're going to be,
See, they connected me to the Wi-Fi. So can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Awesome. So I'm excited to talk about this part too, because this ecosystem that we're going to share with you all about is multi-locational, and we want to connect you across regions to entrepreneur resource centers that are available to you and the people within them that are available to you. So once again, Impact Business Capital is an entrepreneur ecosystem, and my name is Brian Kennedy. I'm the director of entrepreneur ecosystem, and so I'll share a little bit about what the entrepreneur ecosystem mobile app community is all about and how you can be engaged. But Ian, if you could give me co-host permissions, that would be awesome, and then I'll jump in and share my screen. The best thing about how the ecosystem functions is that it's all from your phone. And we wanted to do that because we know that folks are busy, especially business owners. And there's so many things going on. Even today, there's a grand opening for an entrepreneur resource center that may be near you, and you may not even know about it. And so one thing that we want to do is connect you holistically across capital, coaching, and community. And so I'll go ahead and share my screen, and I really want to make sure that this is clear. I'm going to take over your screen. Can you all see my screen okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. This is what the app looks like when you load it. So you'll see our logo, you'll see the name, but with the Impact Business Capital Entrepreneur Ecosystem, we really aim to connect you three ways: capital resources, coaching resources, community resources. And you ask the question, well, who do I talk to? How do I get help? You don't have to go far. The Women's Business Center for women and men, the Small Business Development Center, SCORE, the Service Corps of Retired Executives, are 3 SBA certified and funded technical assistance service centers loaded with consultants ready to serve you. What you see on the screen right below are resource buttons up top is the space that some are in and some are seeing via their screen. what you all will see is that this will continue to grow, and we will be adding other centers that are for growing your business. We continue to promote events that are relevant for your growth and development as well. So yes, we're going to connect you to people, but we're also going to connect you to things that can help your business overall. So you saw this event today. We have others coming up throughout the month, throughout the quarter. Our succession planning series. If you're thinking about succession planning, you just want to learn about what succession planning for a business looks like. Our commercial real estate ownership event, we call it It Is Possible, celebrating Black History Month. Plenty of opportunities for you to be engaged with events and environments, right? Because that's what it's about. It's about what environments are you in? What people are you around? Who's giving you information? You've come into an environment today. It's physical and it's virtual, which is why I had so many connectivity issues at the beginning. But as I noted, I am in our space in Temecula, our Entrepreneur Resource Center. And gratefully, I can now showcase where we want to connect you for you to be broadcasted. So we're connected to multiple spaces. We're a statewide lender. We are connected across the state of California. What if you can market to that network all day, every day? That's why we built this app. So we can uplift you as a business owner. If you're a resource partner to us, we can uplift you and we can continue to see you. So you see some of the folks that are continuing to market what they do. And this is all related to business, finance, business, community, business coaching. These are all opportunities. We hosted a business mixer that was phenomenal with one of our partners, the Black Chamber of Commerce, which I'll be showing you next. So, right, people are powered, and we understand that. So yes, alongside a feed where you can be promoted, we have a directory. And this directory is really where the power of the entrepreneur ecosystem is. So I had a business owner ask me the other day, hey, and this is one of our business owners that is a startup, just trying to make it happen. Hey, I need a lawyer. Where can I find a lawyer? And so I told him, hey, open up the directory and type in law. You'll see all of the lawyers in our ecosystem, and this community will continue to grow. And if you know a lawyer, wouldn't you want to tell them to join the entrepreneur ecosystem so that they can be promoted as well? But one thing about the profile that I'm going to call out, just an example, people will see it file put is what people will see. And so one example that I'll call out just on the individual profile, you see skills, right? People can also find you by your skills. And so I typed in law is in his business name. So it's easy to find. You see the email, the website, right? But this profile can be as robust as you want it to be. And so I'm going to show one more profile just so you see a difference. This one gave an about. The profile can be as detailed as you want. So you can tell what this lawyer does. I'm going to get Ian's face out the way. Sorry about that. But you also see that he's a part of a team. You're like, wait, there are teams in the entrepreneur ecosystem? Yes, there are teams. There are communities. Have you heard of a chamber of commerce? There are a lot. This is one. This is one of the chambers that Langston's a part of. I know I've been associated with this chamber, but you can see his LinkedIn, his email, his website as well. And so the directory is really where the people are. You can search by whatever you need. Let's say capital, right? Oh, look at some of the team members that you may have met today, right? Professionals who can support you across your own team. Right. If you want to start your own community and if folks are in the app, you can say, hey, I'm a part of an entrepreneur ecosystem. I'd like to add you to my team. And you see some of the teams we're creating, right? We have different chambers of commerce that have their own teams, different coalitions that have their own teams, different entrepreneurship programs, incubator programs, because that is a part of what we do. We host incubator programs. We host events like this that support your growth, but we keep these resources centralized in this location. And so you'll see this presentation will also be uploaded to this app after we finish. So there and multiple resources are here on the more menu. I'm going to show one because I don't want to overwhelm folks. But if you see all of these resources, I want you to remember one. Where you see SBDC, this is Small Business Development Center. We're here in the Inland Empire. If you are in the Inland Empire looking for support, once you use the SBDC eCenter link, due to our SBA status, there's a reporting requirement. So you do have to make sure you are signed up for the Small Business Development Center, one of our centers of technical assistance that support you in growing. Once you make your account, you have access to our back office for small businesses. And what you'll see is that this is internal to Ampac Business Capital because this is how we support business owners. And other lenders don't do this. This is a part of our mission. This is who we are. But you see that names and a picture, the emails, their calendar links to book time with them, and their specialty. These are all the Inland Empire consultants. What do you need help with? Are you a food business? Are you trying to start up your business? Do you need help with financials? Do you need help with marketing? Are you trying to get better with your accounting? Contracts, government contracts? Are you a food business? Are you a restaurant business? And you see that you can work with every single one of these consultants. Business accounting formation, human resources, real estate, right? So just know, and this, I'm going to call this out too. This is the Center for Contracting team. You thought about government contracting? Are you interested in it? Join the app. Click SBDCIE. Work with any of the Small Business Development Center consultants that specialize in these contracts. So if you remember nothing from today, know that the entrepreneur ecosystem is your back office for support as you grow your business. But once again, you can edit your profile at any time. Just come to the top of the More menu, click your name, click edit, add it. You want to be robust with your profile so people find you. They can really know who you are and what you do. But this is our entrepreneur ecosystem. This is our approach to supporting you holistically, where we bring you the people power needed to give you access to capital, coaching, and community efficiently. But if you ever have any questions, we're here and we're excited to support you. Thank you so much.
I will answer or try to answer Brian Mazik's question. Realistically, what are the percentages of business owners repaying their MCAs? And I will admit this is a relatively new item. There's not a lot of data surrounding it, but I'll answer it with another question. With lenders, most reputable lenders who have at least their best interest in getting repaid on a timely schedule in mind, operating from a cash availability model in which the amount that you borrow, you have to generate at least this much to repay us. If instead the lender were to take away from your available cash, reducing your total amount of available cash to operate your business, how well do we think that we could pay off something if they stole straight from our paycheck? If we were trying to pay off, say, a credit card, we make $2,000. Oh, we took out an MCA. Now all of a sudden we make $1,000 to pay back the rest of our living and business expenses. So we don't have a lot of data to back it up, but there's a reason why reputable lenders operate the way that they do. All right.
I'll just say, if I can add to that, and I'll say this, that MCAs and lenders like them are around for a reason, right? They do have a purpose for someone who knows how to use that capital with wisdom and with a plan for how they're going to repay it back. What happens to many, though, many small business owners, and we see many of them, is that they don't fully understand that increasing and accelerated interest rates that's coming out of their account every single day. And I say to them, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. And so buyer beware. That pull every single day and that compounding interest that grows every time there's not enough money for them to pull out, it becomes crippling. So when you get in it, try to educate yourself and know how you're going to get out of it. I started Ampac, so I fully understand the cash crunch, and you got payroll to make, you got to pay your people. So you may get into that debt, but be wise, know how you're going to get out of it, and know what you're getting into when you get into it.
And that's something that we'll be getting into. Our next cost of capital event is having an exit strategy for your debt. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll be posting this recording and dropping the slide deck as well. Thanks so much for stopping by.